being taken for granted in life is probably one of the worst things that you can ever settle for. The reality is, if the people around you don't take you seriously, don't respect you, or show you the compassion that you think you deserve, well, it's probably time for you to leave. It infects every part of our life, you see? And this happens to a lot of us when we actually go home from school or a different place in life, because, well, there's a persona that you've established for yourself, there's information that you've taken into your life, and the reality is your family or the people that you're coming back to, they don't know that stuff. They have no idea. So what do? In that situation, you have to think to yourself, okay, do I like the person that I became? Do you like the facts that you have in your head? And if these people don't support that, then you got to set some boundaries. And that's part of also showing them and bringing them up to a level that you want them to be at too, right? I saw Alex Hormozy talking about this when it comes to his family and the people in his life. He said, and actually a lot of very successful people say this, that you need to really understand who you're spending your time with in your life. Because frankly speaking, if people are demeaning you or disrespecting you, making you feel less than you are, then it's your prerogative to try to actualize your potential and be the most that you possibly can be, meaning setting boundaries. And if people, say your friends, say someone at work, someone bullying you when you're younger, even when you're older, whatever it is, you got to set your boundaries in life. It's very, very important, because without those, our self-respect goes out the window. And when our self-respect goes out the window, we don't think we can accomplish very much. That's an issue, because you can accomplish a lot. In fact, you have a beautiful life. Remember how unique it is to be alive in the first place. Realize your assets, your ability to think, your relationships, the compassion that you have, all of your leadership skills, whatever it is. These things contrive, they make a beautiful human being that's capable of doing beautiful things. But like a tree, if a tree is hemmed off on all sides and has less space than necessary to grow, it will not grow to its maximum potential. Luckily, we're not trees. We have the option most of the time to decide what our confines are and what we're okay with. It's a difficult pill to swallow, especially for kind, compassionate people, because we want to assume that we can elevate people outside of their philosophies by showing them something that they haven't seen before, or we assume that people liking us is actually the most efficient thing in life. I tend to be towards that type of mindset. I think kindness is always going to be a good place to start when an interaction, when first meeting someone. But I think when you come into those roadblocks, when things kind of happen, kind of like you say something and people just ignore you, or you're talking and you get cut off, or just like little jabs at you for no reason, forget that. You don't need that in your life. Frankly speaking, without that, you're going to be much, much happier as a person. And the reality also is that the people that are doing those things to you are probably not thinking too much about their own lives and taking their insecurities out on you. So, what can one do in that situation? If you feel disrespected, if you feel taken for granted, if you feel unappreciated in general, it is your prerogative to say to yourself, no, that won't happen. I'm not going to allow that to happen, and this is what I'm going to do. First thing, set boundaries. So many people are afraid of making things awkward. I say, screw that, right? If someone comes up to you and makes your day worse, it is your obligation to make it awkward for them. Straight up. Now, the extreme of that is if someone punches you in the nose, you shouldn't probably punch them back because you're getting in a lot of trouble. But when you're younger, maybe you can get away with that type of stuff. When you're an adult, you get sent to jail for that. So don't do that. But if someone comes up to you and starts treating you disrespectfully, starts cutting you off, starts bullying you, belittling you, making jokes at your expense, you can always take the high road, sure. But sometimes when you know a situation is kind of stuck that way for a while, and you know that you want to make an impact on it, you got to decide. Are you willing to make it awkward for that moment? Maybe even a couple more moments afterwards in order to have a healthier, happier life? If you can't make that decision, I don't know what to tell you. This life's gonna be very hard for you. Because it's not all flowers and sunshine. It's nice. It's a beautiful thing. It's absolutely glorious at the best of times, but at its worst, it's the exact opposite. And that's something we have to accept. That's something we have to accept about living a beautiful life, is the beauty comes from the contrast. So we have to be prepared for when things aren't going to go our way and how we're going to react to them. First step, make things awkward and be like, no, that wasn't funny at all, or they say something to you, don't respond. See how that makes them feel, right? Maybe say something, maybe just tell someone to be quiet, straight up, in front of people even. Whatever, do what you gotta do. The fact of the matter is, if you allow someone to treat you a certain way in front of people, that's reinforcing to them that you can be treated that way, and it's also reinforcing to the people around them watching that you're okay with being treated that way. No sir, no woman, no them, no. Do not allow that in your life. I'm telling you, it's going to really, really affect the way that you feel about yourself, and it's going to really affect the things that you're capable of accomplishing. Every kid is born a genius, literally, every single kid. And yet, because of these repetitive cycles of being constrained into certain philosophies, being constrained into self-view, the imposition of philosophies that really don't make too much sense on top of that child, that is what prevents the child from utilizing their genius potential. If you realize that, you realize how very important it is to be strategic about how you allow people to treat you and how you actually want to be treated. Another thing is a slightly deeper subconscious thing. I think a lot of people don't have the self-respect to actually go through and make things awkward for other people. And I say this because we want to be liked so much in society. And I make a lot of videos about being kind, don't get me wrong. Like I'm not out here being like, go and be an asshole to everyone. But it's very, very important for you to know that, listen, not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone has to like you. And let alone from day to day, people can like you and people can not like you. It's fine. You're a human being. You gotta let loose sometimes, do what you gotta do. It's actually good for your soul to do that. But I think a lot of people really just don't have the self-worth to say to themselves, yeah, my ideologies, the things that I believe in, actually have substance. Which I think it's a phenomenal thing, It's something that'll essentially move the entire world around you. Your expression, your philosophy of the world is everything. And that really just comes down to how you think about yourself. If you think of yourself as a degenerate, if you think of yourself as someone that's incapable of accomplishing feats, or someone that's not capable of being loved, not deserving of being loved, whatever it is, that's going to show in your world. 100%. So fix that. That's the second step. The third step of not being taken for granted ever, is being grateful. Because that's what's going to buffer it all. At the end of the day, when you find people that do take you for granted, when you find things in your life that aren't going your way, that constrain you, the ultimate buffer to that is realizing that there is a contrast. There are people that respect you. There are situations that allow you to grow. There are things that there is no glass ceiling. There are things in life, times, periods, cultures, communities. There are things that you can go get that will make you grow, that will make you feel good and happy. I promise you. Because I think a lot of people get stuck in, being like, this world, this is what I'm in, this is it. No. Life is a multitude, an infinite multitudes of possibilities. right? Every bad thing has an equal and opposite good thing. So don't think to yourself that if you're taken for granted or if people are making you feel some sort of way, that every single person is going to be like that, that every job is going to be like that, no. Understand that there is a multitude. And once you understand that, opportunities start opening up, because we open our eyes to those opportunities. We say, listen, I can go and get that job because I deserve it. Self-respect, setting boundaries, worldview. Hope you found this interesting. Something I think about a lot in my life. Lots of thinking about being taken for granted. It comes with being a compassionate person. What can you do, right? This is actually a video that I made that vaguely opposes this. This kind of goes into culture and the importance of us as individuals in our family units particularly. And I think it's very important to have some honor when it comes to this type of stuff. I think it's very important to decide and to have the ability to take the high road in life. Because frankly, if you go and analyze every obstacle that stands in your way and you stand there for half an hour, you're not going to get anywhere. And the high road is actually an efficient way to just mitigate everything you don't really care about. It's just kind of insignificant stuff, trifling, if you may. So go check it out. Hopefully you find it interesting. And remember, my friend, actualize your potential. The world needs you. Take care.